All right, everyone, here we go with June. Let's talk about June 2023. It's an all signs reading. It's the June monthly overview. I always do these overviews before I fly through and pull a reading for each sign for the month. June. Doesn't matter what your sign is. This is straight up energy reading, and the month affects everybody pretty much the same, especially if you're part of this cycle. Can't believe we're halfway through this year. You see a devil staring at you here in the pre-shuffle. We'll talk about that, but first I want to talk about June. Jupiter conjunct the North Node of Destiny in Taurus opens the month. I'm planning on pulling on that. It's a very important energy. But the three most important energies beyond that in June are Pluto retrograding back into Capricorn, which creates a little chaos, to say the least. Saturn retrograde and Uranus retrograde at the very end of the
Neptune, not
month.
Uranus.
Saturn retrograde in particular is where all the truth is coming from. It's a month of a lot of truth, hard truths hitting, and almost in a taskmaster Saturn kind of way, forcing them to be dealt with. And with Pluto going retrograde back into Capricorn, which kind of opens our pre-shuffle here, right? I've got a high priestess, very mystical kind of energy like Pluto crossing the devil, which is a Capricorn energy. Yeah, we'll give it that. But it really is shining through, and that's really the first big event of the month. It's around the 11th where Pluto retrogrades back into Capricorn. Basically the month is taking all of I've been talking since about the end of April all the way through the month of May. These energies have been sticking around. Energies that usually dissipate are still there. I've got new moons blending with full moons. I've got everything that happened in May. It's all there in a cauldron, just sort of mixing around and bubbling up. You can picture something along those lines. All of that energy carries forward and blends with all of this retrograde energy in June. So there's a lot of truths coming to the surface, a lot of things that have to be done or feel like they have to be done. They don't have to be, but it'll feel like that. Creates a little urgency. But at the same time, as the pre-shuffle will show us, there's no resistance, really. It's almost like irrefutable logic. You can't really argue with it, right? All right, let's do this. It's a general reading. It may or may not resonate with you, but if the title brought you in here or you found Steve Lovejoy, you're here for a reason, okay? This reading is technically timeless. You're all moving at different speeds on your timeline, and I will try to explain this in some way. High Priestess crossing the devil. It very much just resonates with, just on the surface, just in the pre-shuffle, it resonates with Pluto retrograding back into Capricorn, which brings back a lot. It brings things up from the depths. All this devil energy and shit. It just comes up. And it comes up for review. It can't be pushed back down. It's driven by just a force that's more powerful than the person feeling it, okay? We've got King of Pentacles underneath that, and it's crossed by 8 swords. That's not surprising. It's essentially an energy of somebody worried about their stability, right? Afraid of losing something, afraid of losing you, in this case here. Your energy's attached to this, and somebody's life stability is attached to this. There's fear on both sides of losing either one. So it's a bit of a tug of war, which you'll see in a second. This is the 4 swords, right? It's an energy of nothing. Sometimes this is healing, sometimes it's the brain shutting down and soul taking over. This is an energy of nothing, all right? And it's crossed by the world. The environmental energy around doing nothing is the most powerful card I can pull. It's very, again, like I said, it's things you have to deal with this devil. You don't technically, in this reading, the world is bookending the devil. A cycle of this is coming to an end. Everything is up for review. There is a little 8 of Swords here, of course, but it's because of the push-pull of everything. Here's the very little resistance, just digging a little deeper, the 5 of Wands, the weakest energy to me as it reflects off the tarot. And there's that push-pull. There's that 2 of Pentacles. Change, transformation with the butterfly trying to happen. And again, it's a no-brainer type decision because of the Queen of Cups energy. It's all about love, and there's that urge to move forward with it, the Knight of Wands. So I went a little deeper. Technically, the pre-shuffle ends in the world, but sometimes you get an explanation for some of it if you dig a little deeper. This is mind-blowing to me, because that Pluto retrograding back into Capricorn, Pluto in Capricorn creates all kinds of chaos and things like that. It's where, you know, it's just a chaotic energy. There's no other way to put it. And it's been there. It was originally there. I mean, it's moved into Aquarius temporarily, but now it's back in Capricorn, where it's been since 2008. And you've all seen what's happened in the world since 2008, right? I mean, it's crazy. Everything from housing market crashes to our presidential elections in the United States becoming cartoonish in a way. I mean, it's just crazy town, right? So a lot of that is happening within your runners. A lot of their bullshit is coming back to the surface, up for review. And under this energy, what the world is saying is, under this energy, it's pretty hard to ignore it. All right, yeah, it's creating chaos. That chaos showed up in that pre-shuffle, in that Eight of Swords, a little bit. All right, but at the same time, there's no resistance to the change. It just makes sense. It's irrefutable logic. So let's see what's going on here. It's going to make for some very interesting June readings, I think. I think they're going to be pretty cool. Anyway, let's see. Let's shuffle the deck here. This first card out's before the cut. It's Why the Fuck Are We Here? Okay. 9 Pentacles. It's all about fixing things. It's with Saturn retrograde involved, you know. It's all about fixing things. It's all about past lessons that haven't been... Past mistakes have been made and they haven't been learned from, and it's all about going back and this time fixing them. Under this energy, it's a bit of a mechanic energy. It fixes things, right? It's like taking your car back to the shop, right? Now let's fix it right, kind of a thing. Well, it's a liberation energy, right? Same thing. Let's see what comes after the cut. June readings are going to be wild. Yeah, see? Two of Cups. Again, it's... two soulmates. I mean, it's two soulmates coming together. It's a balanced energy. It's almost major arcana for me. It has, for some reason, I'm drawn to the Strength card, where I always say the lion's holding one of the roses from the Two of Cups. Somebody has been thinking and thinking and thinking about this connection. They're afraid to lose it, but at the same time, they're afraid to go towards it. And that's what the Eight of Swords and the King of Pentacles told us in the pre-shuffle. Again, it just makes sense to do this. It does. It makes sense, because also under this energy, they're going to be seeing this connection as liberating them from what's been holding them back, because we had that Queen of Cups in there, right? And for most of the runners, it's pentacles on their side. It's not really, whether they're single or attached, it doesn't matter. It's very pentacle-based energy. It always has been in this cycle. Let's see where we go. Give me the soulmate cycle, universe, for the month of June 2023. Give me a reading here. This is going to be interesting. All right. Let's see where we go. I'm ready. All right. Okay. All right. This is very interesting. It is. It's the Seven of Pentacles. What's fueled it is the overall energy. What's fueling this? Yeah, the Eight of Cups. The time, again, it's irrefutable logic. I could call this divine timing. I say, you know, which is just a fancy way of saying all the energies have lined up to make things, but they have. It's irrefutable logic. Must walk away from 8 cups, go toward 9 cups. Okay, that's it. It's plain and simple. The time is now. It's similar to what we talked about. I think it was the Friday reading, wasn't it? A couple days ago, the Seven of Pentacles showed up somewhere. I remember, and I remember saying something like, "Yeah, now's the time to harvest. It's time." Right? There is a maybe attached to it because it's minor arcana. It's up to their free will. But all of the Saturn makes a lot of sense in this context of the energy that it's going retrograde in. All right? Saturn going retrograde is almost one of those perfect things to happen, because if Saturn wasn't going retrograde and Pluto was just going backwards into Capricorn, it would be a mess. They would be more of a runner. They'd be more inclined to actually book it for the hills again, okay? But because Saturn's retrograde, the teacher is like saying, hey, you know, it's time to apply the lessons. All right. Let's see where we go here. I like this. 7 Pentacles and 8 Cups, the overall. It's saying the same thing kind of the Friday reading did in a way. Right here's the energy around your connection in June 2023. Right here is how they're behaving in the 3D. Right here's their soul. Right here is the hidden energy, message from the universe, red with the energy of your connection. Right here's the potential final outcome. I say potential because I cannot predict free will. Nobody can. I will clarify everything, throw some universe cards over the top, and you bet your sweet asses, and I know they are, there's going to be a link for an extended in the description. Now, and this is the only June, I'm not extending any of the zodiac fly-throughs or anything like that. So, this is the extended overview for June for sure. I want to remind everybody, the same frequency of energy plays out differently in different situations. I'm picking up a frequency of energy and trying to explain it to a general audience. All right? I don't want you to make it fit. But I do want you to understand that if I say somebody's coming in, it could play out 100 different ways, right? It could play out, they're coming in just to see if you got something still that they gave you a while back, or that they're coming in to profess their love to you. The same frequency of energy, it doesn't matter. It's a frequency of someone turning around and coming towards you. All right, so keep that in mind and you'll be fine. June is definitely a month for a good number of you, especially the Cancerians, which I know make up a big portion of my audience, so pay attention. June is a month where you're going to need to try not to get too disappointed by disappointments. All right, Saturn retrograde, Saturn and Pluto retrograde in particular are teaching some lessons and having you look at some things. Some of it might not be, again, hard truths. It's a month of hard truths, which implies that they're not easy. That's for all of you. For the runners, well, let's see. Energy around your connection right now. We'll talk about you in the extended as well. I'll open by pulling on you, like I always do. Energy around your connection. Let's go. 3 wands. Yeah, it's about to pop. I mean, it is. It's right there. It just makes sense to come towards it. It's under this energy. 7 of Pentacles, divine timing, harvest time. It's just, there's no other thing that makes sense. All right. Again, something's over. I wanted to see what was under this. 10 swords. Again, there's nowhere to go. 10 swords is a dead end road, right? It literally is. I always say 10s are the end and dead end that lead you to a new beginning. Well, there's nowhere to go. You can't turn back and stay at the 8 cups. It doesn't make sense. Again, it's like irrefutable logic. They're probably going to try and argue with it, right? Just like you might. I warned you not to, right? But they're going to try and argue with it, but it doesn't matter. You can't argue with a dead-end road. You can either drive your car through or not. It's just the way it is. So it's about having to look at new horizons. No other place to look but out on the horizon. In the Witch's Tarot, this is that guy on the cliff looking at the ship that the Empress is on, watching everything. There's nothing else to look at. Behind him is just the same old bullshit. Right? 8 broken cups. All right. How they behave, we'll see what happens when we clarify, but this is encouraging. But again, it's minor arcana. There's a great big maybe here. Now, these runners can still use their free will against their own best interest. Anybody can. That's why it's a dangerous superpower. Like Superman got dangerous superpower, doesn't he? Right? He could use that for evil if he wanted to. Take over the whole fucking world. It's just rob banks whenever he wanted, take what he wanted, whatever. Right? It's free will that he decided to be a good guy, right here. How they behaving in the 3D? Well, free will is more powerful than Superman, I promise you. 9 of Wands. Again, there's a maybe here. There is that wall. Didn't Cancerians? I have my post-it note from the Friday reading still. Yeah, Cancerians, so somebody got the, I think it was Cancerians got the 9 of Wands, the host energy of the cycle. Yeah, there it is. 9 Wands. It's not, there's not much left of the wall. There isn't much resistance. 9s are the end in tarot. Again, there's nowhere to go. They're boxed in, literally boxed in. All right. So again, there's a chance here. Let's just let June play out. Soul energy, bookends the 3 of Wands. There's that regret. There's that sadness, right? Causes somebody to head in your direction, walk away from 8 broken cups, do something they should have done. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I like this in the soul, actually, I do. I don't like a tower. I wouldn't have wanted a tower here. It feels towery, but it's not a tower, and that's good. because I think that would lead to emotional breakdowns, which don't really accomplish much under this energy at all. There's no need for that. Hence what I told you just a little bit ago about, if something's disappointing, try not to run away with it and get carried away. 5 Cups, bookending the 3 of Wands. Again, there's nowhere to go here. And somebody is just realizing this, and they feel this. This energy flows from here to here. There's still some resistance, but it's not much. It will be, I'll phrase it this way, for the runners, it will be abundantly clear that change needs to happen. Okay? Abundantly clear that if I said a dead end, there's nowhere to go. If they go back to the 8 Broken Cups, they're this. Okay? And they're stuck with this sad horse. If they come toward you, right? There's 9 Cups on the horizon. There's a chance at something new. There's a chance to turn this around. All right. Let's talk to the universe. What's the universe want to tell us? It's hidden energy. It's red with the 3 of Wands. Yeah. Does that surprise you? Wasn't that our weekly reading? I said that the 3 of Swords is the dominant energy on the runner side. Didn't I say that? I think it says it right in the fucking title. Right? There you go. There it is. Boom. Mic drop. Boom. There you go. Oh. Okay. That's our final outcome. Whoa, no, it isn't. No, that's the 8 of Cups. Never mind. All right. Again, the 8 of Cups, though, it was left on the table. We know it was the bottom card. It was the 8 of Cups. This 3 Swords, somebody here, as they're forced to turn around and look at what they've done and look at new horizons, this energy builds within them. I've got back-to-back in this reading the 2 cards that end the separation phase of a soulmate cycle, 5 Cups and 3 Swords. And I've been telling you that since I got here. Right? It's one of the first things I taught you. There's cards to look for, because I know y'all cheat on me and watch other readers. These are cards to look for. You can shut off the sound on them if you want, if you learned how to read cards. Just take a look. You know it's a cycle, and you know what cards you're looking for. Just, there you go. We'll see what happens when we clarify, but this means something here. I get it. It's not even a heart anymore. What's the final outcome? It's red with the 9 of Wands, potential final outcome. Yeah, that doesn't surprise. Fakey McFakerman. It is communication. It's Queen of Wands. It is communication. It's very passionate communication, but there is some resistance. It's not much Fakey McFakerman, though, in this case, with the 9 of Wands here. There is, the 9 of Wands implies a wall, right? A wall of pretense. They feel deep feelings and say, superficial nonsense bullshit, right? Don't always tell you everything. They're coming close to telling you everything under this June energy. It's almost better for those of you where you didn't hear from your person in May. It's better that you hear from them in June than it would have been in May. I think May was a month where someone asked me about it offline, and I said I think it's a month where we should just let the energy build. We should. It's a bit like cooking a stew. If you get impatient and eat the stew, you got all the ingredients in and it's there, but it's only been boiling a few minutes, and you get impatient and get a bowl, it's not going to taste as good as if you let it cook for a few hours or sit overnight, okay, and eat it the next day. It always tastes better because those flavors had a chance to incorporate and mix together and blend. Well, it's the same thing with the month of May. As it moves into June, it's like the stew that sat overnight, right? Got nice and thick, got nice and tasty. This is not much resistance here. They are who they are. The Queen of Wands, they are who they are. But it's not as bad as it normally is, all right? Probably because of this and this. All right, let's clarify. Let's talk to the witches, which randomly at the bottom, I did not know this, has the Lovers. Yeah, strong. It's strong. One of the biggest lessons for the runner, this isn't so much the case for the non-runner side, which is primarily the DF. For the runner, their biggest lesson is this connection. It is getting them to be vulnerable. It is getting them to put the pretense down and showing them in the process what happened by creating this wall of pretense, by living kind of phony, right? So that's why it's much easier to pull on the runner's side, because the lessons are just vast for them. And they all center around what they did here. which is something they've done in the past as well. You're not the first time this person has run from something that felt real. You know, a lot of people think that pentacles are real, that money is real, and status is real, and my stuff, it's all real. No, it isn't. It isn't. Nothing in the 3D is real. This is all an illusion. We're not even really here. It's all an illusion. In fact, I just watched a science special recently that backed that up, and they're even which is risky for them to put on TV and start saying stuff like that. It's one thing for an energy reader in a tarot reading to say it, but it's another thing to have a scientist on the screen tell you it's all just a freaking illusion. It really is. But illusions often lead to delusions. And that's kind of what's happening. The illusion of our lives in the 3D leads a lot of people to get deluded. I mean, they just, they put stock in things that don't have any stock. That don't mean a damn thing. Jobs can be lost. Money can be lost. Stuff can get stolen. Your soul is eternal. That's what you want to put your emphasis on. And that's cups. And that's something they didn't. 3 of Wands, why is it here? I don't know. I'm finally done shuffling. Yeah. Listen, I said there's no other way to turn. It's a dead end behind them. There's no other way to look but what's new on the horizon. There isn't. It's crossed by the Ace of Pentacles. I'm right. I could phrase it, I could home spin it and say your connection under this energy looks like a sirloin steak to a steak lover. It really is. It's nice. It just makes sense. There's irrefutable logic in play here. Saturn retrograde is doing that. Pluto retrograde is causing a lot of churning. It's causing that 8 of Swords type energy within them. And I think that's where the minor amount of resistance is coming from. But we'll see. What's on top? Yeah, 5 Swords. Again, one of the lessons that's coming back, and it's come up for these runners a lot, is them looking at how they shortchange themselves, right? How they I think even as they look over the horizon at the connection and feel that Ace of Pentacles energy, right? I think they still find a way to it's less than to downgrade it from what it actually is. It's just who they are. They're always going to be who they are. They're core programmed to be that way. Why is the 5 Swords here? 6 Swords. Yeah. Again, this is about moving on to calmer waters, right? Kind of a card like that. It's what I just said, though. It's somebody who can glaze over things, They're still glazing over it a little bit, and again, I think that's where this little bit of resistance is coming from. We've got it here. The universe is not giving us a roses and rainbows reading. This isn't a roses and rainbows and unicorns month. It's a month where Saturn is retrograde, Pluto is retrograde, and at the very end, Uranus goes retrograde. It's a lot, and it opens with Jupiter and the North Node. I mean, it's a hell of a rock concert. I'll tell you, those are some big bands. I'm going to tell you right now. All right. 9 of Wands. Why is it here? Page of Wands. Yeah, it's my adventurer page. It's communication. Okay, it's basically it's just communication energy at this point. It's basically saying somebody's communicating here. Somebody definitely, the environmental energy, they definitely want to. There's still a little resistance though. What's on top here? Yeah, the 7 of Cups. Again, it's this confusion energy. How do I communicate though? But how do I fix this? But how? But how? Well, Saturn, like any good teacher, doesn't just give the answer. It makes the student dig for it. If you just give someone the answer, they haven't really learned as much as if they had to investigate and find it. The problems are being put before them. The bad behavior that landed them in 3 swords and why the short-sightedness is a problem. All of that is being put before them. But they got to figure out the answer here. And again, it slows them down just a little bit, but I don't think it stops them. Why is the 7 of Cups here? Yeah, the Empress. Again, it's that age-old question these runners have of why do you matter, right? Why? And also this worry underneath it that other people are going to be interested in you as well. Look, this is 3D energy. What this tells me is one of the reasons they're so damn sad in the soul is because you, the DF side, the non-runner side, is reflecting as Empress energy. Even if you don't feel like you are. Even if you're 8 swords yourself, sitting in a corner crying, drinking yourself to death all night. Right? Crying your eyes out. I hate you, Steve. Right? Go ahead, scream it. Scream it loud. Right? At the end of the day, hate me for pointing it out, but at the end of the day, you're still reflecting Empress energy. You're still incredibly attractive. I make jokes sometimes about this card, but I don't joke about anything that's not in the energy. Sometimes I say for the Rider Waite, she's wearing some frumpy pajamas. Right? I say even in those frumpy pajamas, very bangable. Right? Even in a frumpy green dress, very bangable. Doesn't matter. This is the energy that you're reflecting. And it's almost intentional on the universe's part, so that they really feel this. And when I say this card didn't just show up here in the 3D where they can ignore it, right? Kind of a thing. No, it showed up here. It can't be ignored, this 5 of Cups. Sad, regret. What did I do? What did I miss out on? I know. Can't be ignored. So all of this explains why this is here. But let's find out anyway. Let's clarify. Why is the 5 of Cups here? Tell me about the 5 of Cups. June readings. I can't wait to do the Zodiac fly-through. I'll probably start it tomorrow, the fly-through. So it only takes me a day and a half or so to go through the 12 signs. So I go in order. You always have to go in order. When you're reading energy, you peel it back layer by layer. So Aries through Pisces is coming for June. We'll see. But I would make sure you remember that you're all part of a cycle. The same applies for the weekly reading, where I do 1 card for each sign type of thing, and I say you're all connected. I'm just doing one, instead of 1 card for each sign, I'm just doing 1 reading for each sign. They're all still connected, all right? And the big picture is in all 12 together, right? It is not in just 1 or even just 2. It's crossed by 9 wands. You might recognize the 9 wands from there. This, again, the universe is basically saying these cards explain why this 5 of Cups is here, right? This 9 wands is done. Somebody here is getting the lesson. Saturn is really hammering home. And boy, I can't emphasize Pluto retrograde back into Capricorn enough. I cannot. I don't even have the words to describe it. In and of itself, it's creating kind of a tower energy, all right? We'll keep that in mind. And I'm going to pull on it. I'll pull around the 10th or 11th or 9th or whatever on Pluto retrograding back into Capricorn. But this, again, this wall, this environmental wall that they've had up is coming down. It's like somebody, it's just an example. It's like someone who never cries, right? They're just stone-faced, they're stoic, stiff upper lip and all that kind of thing, right? Oh, look at that. 3 swords. And I'm talking about, I didn't know that was there. It's our next card out. It's there with the 9 wands. It's like someone who never cries, stiff upper lip and all that. And then one day the dam breaks and they let it all out. That's sort of what's going on in the soul right now. It's having a bit of a purge. And that's amazing that 3 of Swords is there, because it's the next card in the reading. What's on top? 5 of Wands. Little resistance. Very little. They can't fight this. It's exactly what I just said in my little crying example. The dam breaks and it all comes out. It's not a little cry. It's not a weep. It's a big one, right? And it's just an example. I'm not saying your person's going to cry. I'm just giving you an example of what this energy is. Feels like a tower, but there isn't a tower. But I'm glad there isn't, because a tower actually wouldn't be productive if it fell here in the base energy anyway. I can get one here, but why is the 5 of Wands here? The High Priestess. I probably won't, because it wouldn't make sense. Yeah, it's all, there's little resistance. They can't push it back. It just comes out. My cry example is perfect. The High Priestess, keeping secrets, pushing things down. This is about low resistance. When there's low resistance, it just all flows up. You can't push it back. It's like diarrhea. You can't suck it back in, right? You can hold a poo, but you can't hold the diarrhea. This is emotional diarrhea is what I'm talking about here. All right. And again, there's, with the Empress here, I can't emphasize enough, again, that this person you're reflecting this. They're worried about how to reach out, which is why the wall is here still a little bit in the 3D, but also that other people are going to be interested in you. They're picking up on the other energies that are coming toward the DF side. And it's very important for me to note that, because it creates an urgency, right? All right. A little bit of diarrhea urgency kind of a thing, I would say. But definitely emotional diarrhea here for sure. Can't hold it back. So let's talk about the 3 swords. It came out here too. And again, there's pain that they ever did hold it back. The nine of Wands and the 3 of Swords told us that. That's crossing there in the soul. But let's see what the universe has to say about this, because this isn't even a heart anymore. It's been ripped to shreds. Why is the 3 swords here? Why is the 3 swords here? Why? Because it's fun. The universe has a sense of humor. I love it. Why is the 3 swords here? Because Steve, they were an asshole. They were. Emperor. Crossed by the emperor. Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, come on. Let's have a chat with the fickle old gal here, okay? We know this soulmate cycle by now, don't we? They did it to themselves. There's a realization of that. He's sitting there in the chair. These people are off having fun, but he's there with he's got all his stuff. He's got his little suit of armor, protection by all this stuff. All this stuff doesn't mean shit. We already talked about that. It doesn't mean shit. It's not even real. It's not even solid. This table isn't solid. It's 99.9999999% empty space. That's it. It's right here. That's why the 3 of Swords is here. They did it to themselves. You want to sit all pouty in there and say, no, I'm fine where I am, when really you're looking over there. No, you're not fine. It's a stubborn energy. It's an energy of somebody making the wrong decisions. It is. It's an emperor with no pants. All right. What's on top? See? Look at that. Why is the 3 of Swords here? This is the environmental energy around it. This is how they behaved. And you reap what you sow, right? And right here, there's the devil on top of it. It's how do I phrase this? This energy is showing them the devil, yes. Again, there's that Pluto retrograde going back into Capricorn kind of thing happening here. It's forcing them to feel the pain. The universe says they're going to be feeling it on a high level. All right? Big time. All right, why is the devil here? Yeah, the Ace of Cups. Again, feeling the pain. You have to have a lot of love. This is usually a heart. You have to have a lot of love to feel a lot of pain. Equal and opposite reaction. This is showing me how much pain is here. It's a lot. It's a lot. That's why somebody wants to try to shortchange it. You know, they want to try to be short-sighted, glaze over it. Well, it's probably not that big a deal. No, this was an epic failure. They had a chance to bang the Empress and they blew it off. That's an epic fail. Okay? That's like the top of your wish list of someone you would bang. The very top of the list, the number 1. You had a chance. You sat there. You were right next to the person. They were into it. They were rubbing your leg and shit. And you freaked out and went, I got to go use the restroom. I'll be right back. And then you ran out the back door. And imagine how you'd feel the next day. You'd feel stupid. You'd feel like an idiot. You'd feel, oh my God, I blew it. I'm just trying to home spin to explain this energy here. And this is good. We want them to feel this. I know it sounds bad to say that, but we want them to feel this. All right? It's a lot. It's a lot. There's a lot happening here. And they're going to try to glaze over it. I don't think they can. Not much. All right? The universe is shining a light on all of it. Okay. Final outcome, Queen of Wands. But a weaker Fakey McFakerman than normal. Okay? I will say that. They are who they are. They're not going to tell you everything. But this is a bitey rattlesnake. Normally this rattlesnake coils up and just rattles. It never really bites. This one's a little nippy. I don't mind telling you. All right? What's going on? It's all right. And that's a good thing. We want it. We want that rattlesnake to be vulnerable. We want it to stretch out. So we can finally get rid of it. Get to the bottom of things here. Why is the Queen of Wands here? What's the final on this? I know there's communication energy attached to this. I can definitely feel that little chatter, and here it comes. Here it comes. I'm right. Knight of Wands, communication. For sure, big time. Incoming. Yep. It's coming in hot and fast when it does come in. And I think the primary energy here, when I look at this Knight, The energy that I get off it is someone, he's like, the little story that's behind the energy here, the homespun Steve story, is somebody's banging his girl at their house, and he's running over, he's riding over, he's got his big wand with him. He's on his way, he's going to kick some ass. It's a bit that, it's a bit of the energy of, because you're reflecting his Empress energy, there's that feeling. I think they're picking up on other energies that are coming towards you, or even other energies that are just interested in you. Because you guys are connected. They don't know, I mean, they're not an energy reader, they don't know what they're picking up on, but they feel it. And it hits hard. It hits in like waves, right? And it creates a kind of a paranoia in a way. Okay? Alright. And what's on top? There's the 8 swords. I told you. There's 8 swords here. We saw it in the pre-shuffle. I knew it would show up in this reading, and here it is. It's 8 swords. It's everything I just described, though. Somebody is going batshit crazy. They feel like I got to do something. They feel like they're in the cold. They feel it's usually this is an energy of fear or overthinking. I'm just drawn to the girl who's blindfolded here, who's like, I feel stupid. I feel like I'm in the cold. I need to do something. And I say that because we have to take context into consideration. It's not a card by card thing. It's cards in context. And the context is this. And I gave you a touching story of a guy riding to beat someone down who's banging his girl. Okay? At the end of the day, they're picking up on the fact that your Empress energy here. It is driving them a bit batshit crazy. And this card is red with the 7 of Cups. Again, there's that confusion energy there. Why is the 8 swords here? It's red with the Empress, so it should be pretty good. And it is. I took a peek. It's the King of Cups. It's someone coming to tell you how they feel, whether they want to or not. They got to do it. And I get that with that Knight of Wands. He's going over there. He knows he might be doing something crazy, something stupid, right? He knows it on his way, but it's just, there's some sort of driving force. And that driving force, I will tell you, is 3 swords, 2 times, and 5 of Cups, right? Driven, just a magnetic pull toward that Empress energy. But a lot of this, a lot of June, you know, I'm going to home spin it. You know, I always do. A lot of June is hard truths. It's a month of truth. It's a month where we eat the stew that the stew of energy that we've been building since late April, all the way through the month of May, letting it stew and simmer. And it doesn't matter that signs like Venus are is moving into, you know, moves signs and changes signs. It doesn't matter. All of that energy, my point about the month of May is that energy is sticking with us. In fact, the energy that formed in the month of May, regardless of planets moving signs or anything like that, is blending with the energies of the entire month of June, all the way up until about July 17th, when the North Node changes signs and goes into Aries. All right? All the way right up through there. All of this energy, and stews just keep getting better and better the more they sit. All right, so this is getting bigger and bigger. Yeah, it's going to be quite a month. It's going to be a very interesting month for those damn zodiac sign reads, I'll tell you that. Let's go. I have no idea what's going to happen. No idea with those. All right, give me 3 cards. What else you want to tell everyone before we go, universe? Anything? Maybe it wants to correct me. I don't know. I always check. I like to make sure. Because not everybody goes to the extendeds, and that's fine. You don't have to. They're there if you want them. But I like to make sure that, you know, if there's any need to correct anything I've said, the universe will do it. Flew out of the deck. 8 swords. It's just, no, I'm spot on. These are cards from the pre-shuffle put in position. 2 pentacles. Crossing the world in the base energy, 8 swords and 5 wands. The universe is saying they might be in 8 swords, but there's very little resistance. There's that 5 of wands again. It's there in the soul. It was there in the pre-shuffle. There's very little resistance. This King of Cups, who's normally very stingy with saying how they feel, is going to open up a little more than usual. This 8 swords, which normally stops them, isn't going to stop them this time. It's not. There's very little resistance here. So again, they can still use their free will against their own best interest, but there's forces in play. This is the most powerful card I could pull. There's forces in play that are more powerful than they are. The environmental energy around them is forcing a decision here. And I don't like using the word force. We're not forced. Energy provides an opportunity. The environmental energies, we don't control what energies come in. We don't control that. The energies come in and they provide an opportunity. You can either take it or not, right? But when I use the word forced, I mean it's similar to the way a cold day would almost force you to put a coat on. If you walked outside in a tank top and a pair of shorts and it's 50 below zero, you'd probably go, I kind of have to put a coat on, right? Even though you want to show off that hot bod, at 50 below zero, you got to put the big fluffy jacket on at some point, right? It's a bit like that. That's what the world is saying here. Look, a cycle has changed. You can get in your head all you want, but, it's like that. So that's your reading. I hope it was helpful. It is going to be a powerful month. In the extended, I'm going to open with the DF side. I always do, because I like to get some contrast. I want to see how this month's going to affect you. But I'm gonna do some wicked voodoo on this, because I got a devil and 2-3 swords and a lot of love here. And still someone who wants to glaze over things a little bit. Although I don't know if they can pull that off. But I also want to know what's going on their side with all this as well. We'll just see how the month of June is affecting everybody. How about that? We'll phrase it that way. If you want the extended, the link is in the description. I hope this reading was helpful. Stay tuned. Probably starting tomorrow, I'll begin my zodiac fly-through. Aries through Pisces. I'm going to need a lot of bacon for this one. It's going to be a deep set of readings, I think. We'll see. If you like this reading, please like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate all the subscribers, everybody who shares, and everybody who watches. All right, I'm going to go pull the extended. Good luck.